All right, so today we're going to be doing something a little bit differently than what we did yesterday. Yesterday was pretty easy. So this is what we did yesterday. We just took these two equations, and when we added them together, something eliminated. So what eliminated in this particular equation? What would you guys say if you added them together? Yeah, so these would what? These would cancel out, and you'd be left with negative 16y equals a positive 160. Divide both sides by negative 16, and boom, you get y equals negative 10. And that happened pretty quickly, okay? Today's going to be a little bit more difficult. Yesterday was easy. You had to like eliminate one and you could solve for the other. Write these down. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to carefully write these down in our journal. I'd like you to write down negative 4y plus 11x minus 67 equals 0. And then right underneath it, please write down 2y plus 5x minus 19 equals 0. You are putting them in your journal, and you're not going to be watching me do the math. You're going to be doing the math with me. Okay? So do it with me. The first thing I'm going to do to solve this system of equations is I want you to watch me just simply take this negative 67 and move it across. Whenever you move a number across the equal sign, it always becomes the opposite. So if I just grabbed that negative 67 and just moved it across, what happens to it? Yeah, it becomes a positive. So basically, once you understand, instead of saying, I'm going to add 67 to this side, and I'm going to add 67, instead of doing all that stuff, just do what? Just take it and move it across and make it equal a positive 67. Using the same concept for the red equation, what am I going to do with the negative 19? I'm going to move it what? I'm going to move it across, and what's going to happen to it? Boom. So could you please write that in your journal? Now, if you take a look, this one was easy because what happened? When we added those together, everything eliminated. But this one's more difficult because when we add these together right here, does anything eliminate when we add those together? What could get rid of a negative 4y? Positive 4y. So here's what I want you to do. Take the bottom equation, and just multiply it by 2. So we're going to multiply 2 times 2, which is 4, 2 times 5, which is 10, 2 times 19, which is 38. And watch what happens when I carefully just place this right underneath it. So I took the top equation, just put it right underneath. Now look what happens. What happens when we add these y's together? You see what happens? They eliminate. What's 10 plus 11? 21. What's 38 plus 67? You're right, 105. And when we divide both sides by 21, look what x is equal to. X equals 5. So right now, what I want you to, the very first thing we're going to do is I know exactly what my x value is. My x value is going to be a 5. Okay. Now, from yesterday, we had to choose between the easy one or a hard one, okay? So right now, which one would you like me to plug it in? The red right here or the blue? Which one do you guys think? The red? Let's do the red one. And by the way, when I say the red one, you don't have to do the 4y one. You can do the 2y one, all right? So check this out. If you would, please, just simply write 2y plus 5x equals 19. But check this out. What is my value for x? So I'm going to put a 5 right there. Okay? So here we go. 2y plus 5 times 5 equals 19. What's 5 times 5? Right, put plus 25. equals 19. Now this is where we have to kind of know how to solve an equation. All right, we got to know how to solve for y. So what would I do to both sides? I need to take away 25 from this side. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. So I have 2y. I'll change it back to red, sorry. Because that zeroes out. I got 2y equals 19 minus 25, which is negative 6. So now I just got to divide both sides by 2. And what's y equal to? Negative 3. So my x value was a 5, and my y value was a negative 3. Now, I'm not expecting you all to know everything there is to know about solving system of equations with elimination after one problem. This is our first problem. After the third problem, you should know what to do. So do not grade yourself on this one problem. Grade yourself after you've done 3. All right, so what was our x value, everybody? 5, and our y value was negative 3. Okay? Next problem. Could you please carefully just write these down right there? Just write those down. All right, here we go, guys. I'm going to write a little bit bigger. The first one I'm going to write in blue, negative 9y plus 4x. But I'm going to help myself out. Do you see that negative 20? I'm just going to move it across. I'm going to put equals 20. So I'm just moving it across the equal sign. And then in red, I have negative 7y plus 16x. What do you guys think I'm going to do with that negative? Just move it over, so I'm going to make it equal to 80. There we go. This is actually not going to be that bad of one, okay? Does everybody see we have a 16x down there? So what would totally cancel out a 16x? A negative 16x. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the top equation right here, and I'm going to multiply everything by a negative 4. So if you would please, just multiply everything that you see inside of this parentheses by a negative 4. So when I do that, I'm just going to come over here to the blackboard right here. A negative times a negative is a positive, so put 36y. Negative 4 times 4 is a negative 16x. Yay! Negative 4 times 20 is a negative 80. I'm already liking this problem. Totally liking this problem. Because our answers are going to be super easy. So right now, we're just going to take that negative 7y, put it right underneath it. Take that positive 16x, put it right underneath it. And put that positive 80 right underneath it. So we're just going to put it just like that. Now, there's a question I have for you guys. Why did I multiply everything by a negative 4? What was I trying to get? Where these two would what? Yeah, one of them's negative, one of them's positive, so that when we add them together, we get a whole lot of nothing. This is what's called elimination. All right? If you guys ever watch the ID channel, you hear about people getting eliminated all the time. All right? Okay? Eliminate. Now, check this out. If we subtract 7 from 36, what are we left with? What do you guys think? What, left with what, 29? 29y? But look at this. We lucked out. Why did we luck out? That also equals sweet. Now this is where students are like, I don't know what to do. Think about it this way. Ready? Let's go back to the 4th grade, guys. Go back to the 4th grade. Here we go. What number would I have to plug in there to make it equal to 0? 29 times what is 0? That's right. So my y is 0. So listen, you could also divide both sides by 29 if you wanted to. You're like, I'm going to divide both sides by 29. Well, guess what? 0 divided by 29 is still 0. So what is our y value equal to? So put it there. Put it there. Ready? Right now, we know y equals 0. Boom. Okay. Y equals 0. Y equals 0. Do you guys see this one right here? I'm going to make this equal to what? What am I going to make that equal to? 0. So put negative 7, open parentheses 0, plus 16x equals 80. What happens here? That just equals a 0. What do we divide both sides by? 16, boom, x equals 5. So our x value was equal to a 5, and our y value is equal to 0. Hopefully this one was like, okay, I kind of see what's happening here. It's a little bit easier, not as difficult as I thought. All right, so x was a 5, y was a 0, and nailed it. Next one, and the last one. Please carefully write this down in your journal exactly as it appears. I'm going to pause the video to give my students a chance to actually write things down carefully and neat. Okay, hopefully you've had time to write it down. If not, you're just really slow. So here we go. Right now we're going to put negative 6y plus 11x equals negative 36. In red, I'm going to put negative 4y plus 7x equals negative 24. So we finally have one that's going to be a little bit more difficult, because what we're going to have to do is we actually are going to have to multiply the top equation by a number, and we're going to have to multiply the bottom equation by a different number. Now, for me, I don't know about you guys, for me, it's easier to work with a 6 and a 4 than I would want to work with an 11 and a 7. So I'm going to do something, see if this makes sense. I'm going to multiply the top equation by a 2, and I'm going to multiply the bottom equation not just by a 3, I'm actually going to multiply it by a negative 3. So here we go. You guys ready? We're going to multiply the top equation by a 2. So get your calculators out if you're just really bad at multiplication. All right? If you're really good at multiplication, just multiply it in your heads. All right? But if you're bad, just use your calculator. All right? The state of Texas allows you. So here we go. What's 2 times negative 6? Well, that's easy. That's what? Negative 12. And what's 2 times 11? Well, that's easy. That's 22. And what's 2 times negative 36? Well, that's easy. That's just negative 72. Now, what's negative 3 times negative 4? That's a positive 12y. And what's negative 3 times 7? That's negative 21x. And what's negative 3 times a negative 24? That's a positive 72. Ooh, interesting. It's not that bad. So if you're not sure what I just did, there's a reason why I chose a 2 and a negative 3, and I'm going to highlight that reason. Here's the reason why I did it. Why am I highlighting this section? Because what happens when you add them together? They zero out. So please, this zeroes out. That's the whole purpose of me multiplying the top by a 2 and the bottom by a negative 3. If you're wondering what we're doing, we're finding what's called the least common multiple. All right? But what's the least common multiple between a 6 and a 4? If you did multiples of 6, it's what? 6, 12, 18, 24. What's the multiples of 4? 4, 8, 12, 16. Do you guys see the 12 is the least common multiple? Now, if you use 24, could you have used 24? Is that a common multiple? Sure. So you could have multiplied the top by a 4 and the bottom by a negative 6 and still gotten it right. Yeah, the first one. So the least common multiple is what you're searching for, okay? That's what you're searching for when you're doing this. All right, enough of that. What's 22 minus 21? 1x, right? And right here, what's negative 72 plus 72? What is x equal to? Oh my gosh, x is equal to 0. So now, once you figure out what x is equal to, we have to choose an equation. So I want you guys to choose. You want the top equation, or do you want the bottom equation? Top or bottom? You want the top? Okay, fine, we'll do the top. Ready? Negative, I'll do it in blue though. Negative 6y, okay, plus 11x equals negative 36. So what am I going to do with this 0, guys? I'm going to take him and plug him in where? Right there. So what happens when you multiply that by 0? What happens? Right, just so it's gone, right? So basically, when we multiply that by 0, it's gone. So what are we going to divide both sides by? All right, and what's y equal to? Positive 6. Okay? Well, check this out. Same thing here. Look at this. If I plugged in a 0 right there, right? Then you should do negative 24 divided by negative 4. You'd still get a positive 6. So my x is 0 and my y was 6. So 0 and 6. Okay? Okay. All right. Okay, could you guys please turn on your graphing calculators, please? Turn on your graphing calculators. Okay. So everybody, turn your graphing calculators on. All right, this is where people are probably going to be mad at me somewhere in the world. But you know what? My students need to know how to check their answers. So in your calculators right now, could you guys hit the little apps button right there? The apps button. Okay. Can you guys please go down to where it has this right here? Find wherever number that, mine's 9. There might be a different number. I'm going to put 9. Okay. Can you guys go to number 2 where it says simultaneous equation solver? Can you guys go there, please? Do you guys see where it says equations 2 and unknowns 2? Can you guys just hit hit your graph where it's the next, hit next? Okay. So right now, if you would please, would you, do you see where it has, what's my x value in this one? 11? Okay, so here we go. So right here, I'm just going to type in an 11 and press enter. Okay? Press enter, enter. Now over here, what was our y value for this one? What's our y value, everybody? Negative 6. Okay, okay. All right, I'll just type it in. Negative 6. Dun, 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 dun. Enter. All right, and what was it equal to? Negative 36. Okie dokie. Negative 36. All right, boom. Okay, let's look back right here. You know what? I'll just use this one. All right, what was our x value for the second equation? I'm sorry. X value was 7. Yeah, it was 7. You got to pay attention to the x's and the y's. Okay, they're important. All right, what's our y value? No, I'm sorry. Our y value was negative 4. Got to pay attention to the x's and the y's. I'm really not trying to be mean, guys. I'm just letting you guys know you got to pay attention. What is it equal to? All right, so I'm going to put negative 24. All right. Okay, negative 24. All right. So there we go. Would you guys agree this is our system of equations right there? Would you guys agree that that's what it looks like? Do you guys see where it says solve? Do you see that right there? Okay, I'm going to hit solve. Okay. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this? What? By the way, this is really, 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 really close to 0. Did you get 0? Okay. So right here, this really means 0. Okay. And what was our final answer, guys? 0 and 6. Okay. Oh, wait. I did type it in. We got it right. Okay. So if you're wondering, how do we do it by hand? This is how we do it by hand. What do you always have to do? Find a way to get one of them eliminated so you can solve for the other one. So you have either going to eliminate your y's, that's what we did, or you're going to eliminate your x's. Good luck on solving these systems of equations.